Okay, now this video is going to illustrate the linear regression channel as we've discussed earlier. So let me just zoom in a little bit and walk us through what we learned in the previous video. This is the fourth part. So here we have the linear regression coming, and it makes a horizontal pause at that point in time there. Okay, and we have our three lines drawn. Here they are, 1, 2, and 3. I've drawn them in different colors because just I think I like the Italian flag. Who knows? Anyways, we continue with our linear regression line, and we have another inflection point here. Now, the reason why this is valid, in fact, let me just illustrate that all these here, let me just go live. Bear with me, I'm trying to work out this new software. All the Italian flags, if you will, are all valid linear regression channels that have been validated. And that is what the task for us to do is validate all of these by a computer. Now, I've done it manually, and I've tried to, these are all validated points. They're all points where the standard deviation comes in and parks, stations, and I'll show you how that is, and you can just take it at a glance. You see it and reaches a point of inflection. It doesn't necessarily change direction, but it does change. It does have an inflection point there. Like this one here doesn't change direction; it continues. This one changes a bit, like reversed, like almost like a head and shoulders. But anyway, oops. There she comes. So these are inflection points that are validated. These are linear regression channels that are valid. And I want to highlight each one so that it can become very clear on how to write the rules. So we come to the first one. We draw our lines. We draw the lines just like that. Whoops, sorry. We draw a line there and there. And then we move along with our screen, and now we pay attention to where the new linear regression channel is relative to the previous one. So that's the high of the first original LR channel, and now the low is actually above the high. So that validates this linear regression channel. So we move on. Up it goes, and then we pause. Here we have another validation. Why? Because the high of the old is passed by the low of the new. And then we go vice versa. The high of the new is lower than the low of the old. And then vice versa. The high of the new is above the low of the old. And that's what I was trying to explain in the previous one. And let's look at more tricky ones, like this series here. In fact, let's just move along a little bit to here. Okay, so here we've got a nice selection of LR channels, which I hope really get to illustrate the point. Here we have high, and his LR channel breaks above it, because the low of this channel is higher than the high of that channel. And then I've omitted the middle point here. This is another great example of, in fact, I want to zoom in on this one. Okay, here we have a situation where our first, that's our low, that's our midpoint. The high of the next standard deviation is lower than the midpoint, and that is a validated system. This is kind of interesting situation here. So what we have is just, I try to bring in this piece here so that you can get, that's the picture that I'm sending you now. This one here, this linear regression is the same as this one here. In fact, I'm going to mark it a bit better. That one and that one are the same. And then the next color, I don't even know if I don't know how to change colors, so I'm just going to change. This one here is the same as this one here. Okay? And note that we're looking at the mid-level. There's the mid-level. There's the mid-level. Don't know why the color changed on me. And then high. Whoops, wrong one. Let me just go back. I meant to be showing you this one. That's silly me. So I'll make it real quick. This is the band. This is the band, the first one, and then the high upper band is below the mid band, and that's what we're interested in. The high is below the mid band. The high is below the mid band of the earlier one. I'll continue next video.